Hello, thank you for listening to the Moist Boys Reviews. This is Josh. I just wanted to take a moment to tell you about the Anchor.fm app. If you haven't heard about Anchor, it's the easiest way to make a podcast. Let me explain. It's free. There's creation tools that allow you to record and edit your podcast right from your phone or computer. Anchor will distribute your podcast for you so you can be heard on Spotify, Apple Podcast, and many more. You can make money from your podcast with no minimum listenership. It's everything you need to make a podcast in one place. Download the free Anchor app or go to anchor.fm to get started. What's up, everybody? This is Josh. Thank you for listening to the Moist Boys Reviews. After a brief hiatus, we are back with more film reviews. We're going to be catching up on some films that came out over the last couple of weeks and some films that are coming out right now. Things might sound a little rough for a while. I do not have access to my usual recording area studio, so please be patient while we work through these troubling times. But today I wanted to talk about the film Sonic the Hedgehog. There's been a lot of controversy surrounding this film, and I'll just say that none of it is important, none of it matters. Ignore all that. If you have children that enjoy films, this will be a very enjoyable film for you. Even for myself, who does not have children, there is a lot to appreciate of this film. I think the qualification of this being the best video game film, it's definitely a contender, which is certainly a low bar, but I still think there is enough good here that it certainly qualifies. I think the worst that this film does is sometimes it is fairly generic, and so, while there is a lot of personality to certain aspects of the film, some of it is by the numbers, so your mileage may vary depending on how you feel about that. As far as children's films in the year 2020, I think this is definitely at the top. This is a good family film that everyone will enjoy. Since I do not have my typical notes here with me, this review will be a little bit shorter, but I will say that the standout star is definitely Ben Schwartz as Sonic. He brings a lot of personality and character to a character that could be very one-note and obnoxious. I think he's able to avoid that for the most part, just through sheer will of personality and charisma. So the film is successful on that front. Jim Carrey as Dr. Robotnik is probably the most hit or miss character in my estimation. Sometimes he goes far too over the top. Sometimes that works. Sometimes that doesn't. There are several scenes that don't seem to go anywhere. The one that is in the trailer featuring Neil McDonough falls more on the annoying side rather than funny side, but he does have there are a few scenes that are very comedic, specifically one where he is doing what is essentially evil villain stuff, and even the song that he's playing says as much over his music system. James Marsden does what he needs to in a fairly thankless role as Sonic's sidekick, who has to help him get to San Francisco. There are a couple other characters, none of which are super important. As far as family films go, I would say that this is a less violent and maybe not as strong a showing as 2018's Bumblebee, but I would say that they are very close in quality and enjoyment level. So if you enjoyed that film, which I think you should see if you haven't, I think you will enjoy this one. I'm going to give Sonic the Hedgehog 7 Clooney's out of 10. Thank you for listening to the Moist Boys Reviews. Please check out the Moist Boys podcast for more content, and please stick around and keep an eye out for Moist Boys Reviews for new content coming soon.